Today, Canadians have the chance to elect a new government, and the last round of polls immediately before today's elections imply that there's a good chance that Stephen Harper and the Conservative Party of Canada are on their way out after a series of wins over the past decade. Now, because we know that many people watching this will be American and might not be all that up on the recent political and electoral developments in Canada, the major players first. We have Stephen Harper of the Conservative Party of Canada, currently in power for a number of years. Justin Trudeau, the son of one of the former prime ministers of Canada, the head of the National Democratic Party, and Tom Mulcair, the head of the Liberal Party. Those are the three polling best at this point. Now, up to and including those published by early Sunday morning, the Liberals have led in 17 consecutive polls, including surveys conducted by 8 different polling firms using an array of methodologies. All but one of those firms put the gap between the Liberals and the Conservatives outside the margin of error. I've seen numbers like 9 points recently. Every poll has the New Democrats in third, trailing the Conservatives by between 7 and 12 points, and the Liberals by between 12 and 17 points, implying that there's something like a 5 to 7 or 8 point gap between the NDP and the Conservatives. And overall, it's expected to be a very popular election. Canadians are expected to vote in droves. There was already a 71% bump in voter turnout in advanced polls last week compared with 2011.
I think you might have misspoken in the beginning. I just want to clarify the NDP leader is Thomas Mulcair and the Liberal Party.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I did. Yeah.
Justin Trudeau.
Yes.
Okay. So just
and that will be very important for the final results of this, if the polls are to be believed in terms of what sort of government will be formed. It'll almost certainly be a coalition minority government. But I've also seen that despite the fact that all these polls are implying that the Liberal Party is in the lead, traditionally the Conservative Party has done better than polling would indicate in the past few rounds of elections because of their superior get-out-the-vote effort. Now, hopefully that will have been factored into the most recent polls, but in the past they've usually outperformed.
Yes, and now that confusion among the two different progressive parties is actually at the heart of what's going on in Canada, although we did it, unwittingly there. Mm-hmm. But a lot of voters are saying, okay, hey, which one should I vote for? They're both Liberals. I know I don't want the Conservative Party. And that also, of course, leads to Harper's overall problem, which I'll get to in a second. But right now, there's even things like strategicvoting.ca that explains, look, anyone but Harper. And in the parliamentary system there, they're saying in these different districts, or ridings as they call them, which sounds funny to a person not familiar with it. But
same basic idea, though.
Yeah. They're saying we're going to tell you which progressive candidate is more likely to win in that particular district, okay? And so you can go vote based on that to make sure it's not Harper's party that wins that particular district by splitting the vote.
Yeah.
Okay. So that makes sense. And it shows you how much more popular Liberals are overall in Canada at this point, at least. Harper has won outright majorities in some elections.
The past, yes.
That's right. So that it's basically all the Conservatives are voting for Harper, and he might not even win a plurality, right? And the Liberal groups are splitting their vote, not just among the two big parties we told you about, but there's also the Green Party and smaller parties. So, but now that leads to Harper's downside, which is even if he wins a plurality, he's not going to be able to put together a government if the polling holds, because then you'd have two very strong minority parties, the NDP and the Liberal Party, that could then form a coalition and lead the government.
That would more than likely end up being a majority, yes. Yeah, and so while the strategic voting is very interesting, I'm glad that they've set up these resources to help people to do that. Even if Stephen Harper can do extremely well, but the fact that they can pool their resources, I mean, people in America obviously are used to the American way of doing things, first past the poll and all that. But this is a parliamentary system, very different, obviously. And so it could end up being a great night for Liberals overall, even if the Liberal Party itself doesn't get the majority, which seems unlikely at this point. Now, my experience covering Canadian elections, obviously limited. That's why I misspoke earlier. But I did speak with Lawrence, one of our employees. Now, he is, I checked, he's an actual Canadian.
Did you find his long-form birth certificate? I wouldn't just trust him.
It was on his horse.
Okay.
But he said that he actually thinks that he expects the Conservative Party to do better than polls, and he's been following it much more closely, but that their version of Canadian gerrymandering, that Harper has set up something like 30 new ridings that are designed to go the Conservative way. Now, this strategic voting website, like strategicvoting.ca, could help to offset some of that advantage. And again, there's the get out the vote factor as well. And so we won't know until, at the very least, I believe 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, Ontario and Quebec will be done with their voting. And depending on how much of a lead one party has in there, that some of the later closing polls won't be as necessary. But if it's tight, then it might be quite a while before we actually know tonight what the end result is going to be.
So conservatives all across the world with the same tricks, gerrymander districts or ridings in their case, to make sure that your vote matters less.
Yes.
Well, if you're going to be in the minority and, and all these liberal parties are way out polling you at this point, well, you want the vote to matter as little as possible, right? So that's why conservatives do it, because deep in their hearts, they know they're not that popular. They might win an election or two, and Harper's been in office for 9 years. I get it, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, people tend to, on the issues, be far more progressive. And now Canada's been a lot more progressive lately, with the NDP winning in Alberta, which is shocking because Alberta is the most conservative part of Canada. NDP appears to be the most liberal party, right? The reason for that, I think, is the reason liberals are winning all across the world, whether it's Greece, whether it's Jeremy Corbyn in the UK, Bernie Sanders surging here in the United States, because people are tired of conservative policies. For 30, 40 years, we've been lied to and told that, don't worry, it'll trickle all over your head. Once the rich have all the money, they'll throw a couple of coins at you, right? Well, it hasn't really worked that way
I don't feel like trickles. It's a drought here in California.
So it hasn't worked that way anywhere in the world. So finally, people are kind of waking up out of their slumber going, there's some chance they've been lying to us, right? And now, why is Canada more responsive and voting at greater rates, right? And like for example, here in America, if you have a deeply blue state like Mississippi, there's no chance of a liberal winning, right? There's not a little chance, oh, wow, that was surprising. No chance, okay? And the reason for that, why Canada is superior in that sense, every Republican's like, no, we're number one. Then why do you go back to Canada? I was never from Canada, okay? Unlike one of your Republican presidential candidates, Ted Cruz.
Yes.
Maybe thinking about sending him back. Okay, so the reason is because they are not drowned in money the way that our politics is. So then the voter is right to be more responsive and to have much greater voter turnout, because his vote actually does matter in Canada. Whereas here in America, our leaders are selected for us ahead of time by billionaire donors. That's literally true. I just had Larry Lessig on TYT interviews this morning where he explained, even if you just take, not the billionaires, but people giving the maximum amount, which is a little over $5,000, that's 0.02% of the population. The same percentage of the population that communist China asked to pick the leaders for Hong Kong. And in Hong Kong, there was nearly a revolution over it. Here in America, we bow our heads, but people at least have woken up and don't bother going to the polls because they know it has no effect. In Canada, it still has an effect. That's why they're going in droves tonight, and then it might have a historic outcome.